Charles Girardier was born in 1759. He had actually a very fulfilled life when we look at it, because when we see all the pocket watch that he has been making, we can see that his approach was quite unique.
So 90% of the time I talk about watches and watch brands that most people know about. But I like to reserve just 10% to explore new brands, to explore watches that you may not have heard of and I'm certainly learning about. It's so interesting because we have an independent brand from the 18th century that has come back to life thanks to Patrick Ulm. Let's start with you. How did you end up reviving a lost, a forgotten watch brand?
Basically, I was passionate about watches since a very long time because my cousin, actually my family was in the watchmaking. My cousin is a watchmaker and my grandfather was collecting watches. I grew up in Lausanne and my grandparents were living in Jura. It's the place where you always hear about watchmaking. So actually I was really always in close contact to watchmaking. I started to do collecting myself. And one day I came into a museum, the Museum of Agatha Christie, actually her holidays house, and I discovered that pocket watch. And I had to remember my grandfather, all what he said, you know, pocket watch is amazing and only the great watchmaker have their pocket watch in museums and like that. And I said, okay, great. And I saw this name, Girardier Lenné, and I thought, I never heard that name. I never heard that watchmaker. Maybe my grandfather would have known. Unfortunately, he passed away. And then I started to investigate and found out there were some other watches in other museums, in Paris, in Geneva, masterpieces. He was mentioned in history books as a reference for his enamel, for his approach, animated art with automaton. And recently I even found a quarter repeater with Jacques Mar. When he died in 1839, he had no heir, no son, no one to carry on. But somehow this brand kept going through museum, through auctions, through pocket watches. And you could say that I met Girardier through his pocket watches. It's like he sent me a message. And when I got this message, when I got these watches, the first watches that I got from auction, then I knew that was not just fate, there was more to it. It became my mission. I had to do something about that brand.
It's so fascinating because you're not coming from a watch industry as a watchmaker or running a watch brand, but this was purely a passion project for you. This was something that when you discovered these pocket watches and you learned the history of Charles Girardier, you were like, okay, I need to, this deserves to be told, and this brand deserves a second life in a way. How has the journey been so far? You've been at the helm of this ship. This is a big responsibility because you have a long history, you have a very rich history, but then bringing it back in modern times, using modern manufacturing processes and still retaining some of that history, some of that traditional watchmaking. How has that been for you?
Yeah, it has been a fantastic journey because you learn every day. And every day you ask yourself, if Charles Girardier was here today, how he would have done this, you know? And that's the inspiration and the motivation that we have. We want to be at his level, you know. When you do watchmaking especially, you have to be very patient, but also in the entrepreneurship, in the process of developing a brand, it's not going so fast. We went forward, but I wished it had gone a little bit faster. But nevertheless, when we look at what we achieved, like GPHG after only 2 years of existence. By the end of the year, beginning of next year, we'll have our in-house movement after 6 years of existence. So actually, we are very fast. But, you know, in the everyday activities, you think, oh, we are slow, we are not moving forward. But no, actually, we are doing really great.
First of all, you're creating a small amount of watches, working with manufacturer movements none of these movements are mass produced. They're custom made for your brand from big names, from Watchmaker, from Oscillon with Timeless. So it's quite interesting to see how your manufacturing process has extended over the years. Talk about your facility. Where are these watches being developed, and how many watchmakers are you working with? How many enamelers, guilloche operators are you working with?
I see two parts in this adventure. The first part was more like branding and creating a talking piece with the GPHG, with enamel, stunning colors, and small quantities, right? And it's also the branding part. But now comes the second part, which is we are making ourselves ready to increase the level of production as the demand is increasing. And for me, the main change is when I realized that we can do our in-house movement. To be at the level of Charles Girardier, and when we saw what he was creating all by himself, we had to be the creator of our own movement. So in order to achieve that, we moved from Geneva, we moved to near Zurich, 45 minutes from Zurich, where Océan is actually having their workshop. And we created actually a hub by associating with them and having our own workshop just very close to theirs. The big advantage is that at any time we can actually take advantage of all their expertise. And there are 4 watchmakers, Océan, and they are working sometimes for Océan, making their fully handmade watches, and sometimes they are working on assembly of the Charles Girardier pocket watch, Charles Girardier watches, sorry. And also they have been very involved in the development of the Synchronaut, of that second part of the journey where we're not just doing talking piece, but really establishing our brand with
Right.
very nice models. So this is what we are talking about, automaton with Charles Girardier, this animated art. So you have a dial that is not only showing time, but has an animation. And as art, there is painting and enamel. So this has been definitely our inspiration to always put craftsmanship in our watches, stunning colors, also some automation. And so that's how we came with the idea of the Mr. Signature or the Magic 8. The idea of the disc, it was a mono disc, but we created 2 discs going opposite or similar directions. So this was the inspiration.
It establishes the DNA of the brand in a way because you have all of those key characteristics. Let's move on to Mr. Signature. This was your GPHG winner.
The idea not to do only painting enamel, but really grand feu enamel. So we are talking about 8 layers of enameling, with the last layer translucid with some paillons, which are 100% silver or pure gold. So the beauty of the dial is really amazing. We had the craftsmanship part, the art part. And then we put the animation with the tourbillon, which is the cage of tourbillon set with diamond, and with our monogram that is actually moving, depending on how you hold the watch, yeah. And actually, this is the same idea of the disc, right? Yeah. So you have like 2 way, and depending where is the way hanging, then the monogram will move in one or the other direction. And if the way are kind of at neutral level, then the monogram, the Charles Girardier, would come back to this original position. That actually made us win the GPHG because it was so original, and we had the history part, and we had the amazing enameler, and there are not so many that can do such precise work. So we were really grateful to them that we could work with them and we could tell them what we want to achieve. You can see here that exactly the pattern that we used is exactly the pattern that you find in the pocket watch, right? So you see that watch, and actually this is how he was decorated, the inside of the pocket watch. So one to one, we actually took over the pattern
as kind of a backdrop, and then you place the current logo on top of that.
That's right. And we saw that on the pocket watch there was a disc turning, right? And here, instead of having a disc turning in one direction, we have two-way moving depending on the position of the watch. But the principle comes from the pocket watch.
And then these manufacture movements were tailor-made by Timeless. Master watchmakers, experience with AP, experience with H. Moser, creating minute repeaters, creating tourbillons. So you had some powerhouse of watchmakers that developed these peripheral rotors. So you can see this beautiful German silver bridges and heated blue screws and all of these decorations, kind of a through and through of this amazing craftsmanship. Then we move on to something a bit more contemporary, something a bit more modern, a bit more everyday, the Magic 8. It doesn't look like titanium, to be honest, because of the polishing on the case.
Yeah, the Magic 8, again, you have enamel. This time is Grand Feu enamel, but a gradient color. It means that you will have a light color in the middle and will become darker and darker as you go through toward the periphery. How to achieve that? You need on the base to have a curved base, and depending on the amount of powder, that will determine how intensive, how darker is the color. So the artist has to be really, really good, because it has to gradually, it has to put more and more powder.
And evenly.
Evenly.
In a circle.
Yeah. The rate of success is 30-40% a week, because not only you need the right recipe to cook it, sometimes there's some bubbles, sometimes it's cracked. It's really, really a handmade part of the dial.
If you're not aware of Grand Feu enameling, this is a next level of enameling process where you have to bake these dials, paint them and then bake them 7 to 8 times at 800 degrees Celsius.
Correct.
So the chances of them breaking and cracking at each of those points is a lot.
That's why you don't see mass production with enamel.
And then we turn the watch around and we have something that I wasn't expecting. It is bringing Charles Girardier, like you said. How would he do it in today's context? You have black bridges on the movement with beautiful beveling.
And actually we wanted to take advantage of the peripheral rotor, so it gives the full view on the bridges and on the movement to do this galvanic process like we did, and decorate it with these waves in a beautiful, beautiful way.
And then we move on to the latest release, having an entirely different movement approach, creating a very practical watch in a way, super light, super comfortable, 39.5 millimeter case, and you guys managed to collaborate with Rolls-Royce.
We have to make the bridge between Mr. Signature, Magic 8. What is the bridge to Synchronaut? Rolls-Royce found that we were sharing the same value, and they approached us and they asked us to participate to the 120 years anniversary celebration of Rolls-Royce and to become partner. And the Enthusiast Club asked us to join. And we said, yes, we definitely want to join. And to celebrate this, we want to actually craft a watch for this occasion. Talking about Rolls-Royce, we had to put the elegance, which is the guilloche, and the comfort, which is the pusher for the GMT. GMT, because it's transportation, it has to be as close as possible to Rolls-Royce. And we had always in mind and always were thinking, how can we put this beautiful spirit of ecstasy? And we came with the idea to actually engrave it in the sapphire glass. This is done with laser. And the first times, the sapphire just explodes. The engraving is actually inside, but you feel it's coming out. But actually, it's inside. It's going deeper.
Right.
So
you don't feel it on your skin. It's
no. It's
but
inside,
it's
and
still
it's
permanent.
going down. But you feel it's coming up.
The thing about Rolls-Royce is that we know that it is the epitome of luxury, but at the same time, there are a lot of functional, practical elements, even technological, that make the driving practical, that make it user-friendly. And I find that functionality displayed here as well. You certainly have loomed indices and loomed hands here. A Synchronaut function that's sort of a dual-time GMT function here, with a pocket watch inspired date window. There are a lot
of day and night windows also inspired by this one. So both the date is exactly the date that you can find on a pocket watch, and the day and night is also exactly the windows that you find on many of Charles Girardier pocket watch.
Creating this guilloche pattern, these perpendicular polished blocks against this hobnail texture on the backdrop. And it's all manually done. But how do you achieve this color?
That's where we put the modern part in the watch. We already have the ancient part, which is the guilloche, and the modern part is the ALD. ALD is atomic layer deposits. ALD is actually at the nanotechnological level. You change things at the atom levels, and you obtain some colors. Not all the colors, but the colors that you obtain are just stunning. And this is all the way through. We always want to have stunning colors on our dial.
So it's the material, it's the color of the material.
It's also going 200 degrees. There's also a process of heating up, right? But it's changing the atom on a nanotechnological level. And that's how you obtain this absolute amazing color.
And now we kind of take a step away from peripheral rotor. We have a traditional rotor, but again, very beautifully done. Tell me about this movement.
Yeah, the movement is a Vaucher movement. The GMT complication is Dubois des Pras that we enhanced with the pusher, the engineering of the pusher, and linked with the day and night indicator. And when you are in the plane and you know, okay, it's 2 hours plus, 2 hours minus, it's so easy to change the time. And you have always your home time on the 24-hour scale.
Right.
And so it's really, really beautifully achieved.
So now we have 3 very strong collections here. What I want to know is, how would you describe a Charles Girardier collector?
What we can observe right now, we have 2 kinds of customers. We have the customers who are very happy that we went into the Synchronaut and we are doing the Plenitude, and they said, yeah, Magic 8 and Miss Signature is nice, but this is the real horology. And there are those who are saying, no, but we prefer the Magic 8 and the Signature Mystérieuse because that was so original. That's something that we have not seen. Of course, it's not as original as the Magic 8. It looks more like any other watch. Right. But with the pusher and with the guilloche, with the day and night indicator, with the whole grade 5 titanium case, it's really also quite a unique watch. So I think we just continued what we have been doing so far. Like, we are very proud that we did the guilloche, that we are doing the assembly, that we can do now the technical design. We can do already many things in-house. Main thing is that we can do the engineering, like for the pusher, that really required a very close partnership. You cannot do it if you're not under the same roof, and in the same hub. Only like this you have this exchange and creativity, expertise, all is there,
Right.
And it's also for the after-sales service, that you have very, very competent watchmaker. They know exactly how the watch is made, so it's quite easy for them to do the service, to repair it if it needs repair. And I think we created the foundation, and then we will have version 2, version 3 of the Magic 8. We will have the Mr. Signature with the Tourbillon, but maybe zero Tourbillon. So we will always improve. But we have some complications at the base, and we have also some artistic techniques with the ALD, with the guilloche. So it opens up a lot of ideas. For a lot of ideas, we always be very creative, and we will keep shocking our customers, but they will get used to it.
That'll be the expectation. Let's talk about that. Where do you want to go from here? What territory of watchmaking do you want to explore from moving forward?
First, we want to have our first prototype of the in-house movement, right? And already we have, with the in-house movement, we'll have two watches. One which is going to be rather simple, and one with only with the power reserve indicator, but again with ALD, very beautiful colors, stunning colors. And we will have, based on the in-house movement, power reserve complication with the lunar phase. 120 years, also our in-house complication. All right? So I think what's going to happen now is that we are going to keep Mr. Signature Magic 8 Synchronaut, but now on the base of the in-house movement, we can really go another level of complication. You know,
because now
we have already in the pipeline, for example, because of the quarter repeater. The next thing is that we're going to do repeater. I mean, we are not coming to the level of Patek Philippe, but definitely we will integrate more complication. Still, we want to be elegant and this elegance and this comfort in our watches.
And I think having that in-house manufacturing process, it opens up the possibilities, endless possibilities for you to, merge animations and artistry into complicated watchmaking as well. Mm-hmm. So I think that the creative side, it's endless possibilities.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Patrick, thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And I can't wait to see
you in Kuala Lumpur, in your home. Thank you so much.
Thank you.